I didn't think this film could get any worse after watching the trailer again before I watched the film, because I did trailer reaction to this many months ago and I thought, okay, this film could have potential. I watched the movie and oh my god, it was ass. Yes, I finally got back from the cinemas after watching The Crow and holy crap, this was not needed. So for many people, they're calling this movie a remake. I wouldn't call this a remake, I would call it a reinterpretation of the graphic novel, which was then created into a movie adaptation in 1994 starring Brandon Lee, and this is that version of the graphic novel reinterpreted. So 1994 film will go out the window in this scenario. However, this film should have not been made. You should have left with the 1994 film and the graphic novel. That would have been fine. So you got Bill Skarsgård playing the character Eric Draven, and I don't remember if they referred to him as Eric Draven, probably just Eric, and he meets a person called Shelly in rehab. They then break out of rehab and start going on a bit of a crazy drunk and drug spree, I guess. And you know where this is going. Eric and Shelly get murdered. However, Eric cannot go into the afterlife because his heart is still attached to the woman that he loves, and then he has to set out to get vengeance by looking like a angry goth. The issue is with that is I didn't feel the connection between Eric and Shelly. Both characters didn't feel like they knew each other long enough, and it feels almost impossible that you feel that sort of connection with a character that we barely see on screen. One of the main differences between this film and the 1994 film is the 1994 film had a lot of flashbacks showing the love between the two characters, but in this film it's all linear, it's chronological. I didn't think the lore was greatly explored because they tried to over-explain a lot of the stuff that was happening in the film. I didn't appreciate that. I kind of wanted to have a bit of a brain tease. I wanted to figure out some of the stuff myself, even though it is based on a graphic novel and we have seen this back in the 1994 film, but I just kind of want to have a bit of fun with it. You had the bad guy played by Danny Huston. The worst part is I like Danny Huston, but I just didn't think that the role that he had was enough. I just don't think the material that he had was enough. The script was all over the place, man. And let me bring back to the main part of the story. The story of The Crow is literally the Crow taking a soul from here to the next life or the hereafter. If the crime is so bad, it's so horrific, the Crow allows the soul to come back to right the wrong, to get the vengeance in order for it to be at peace, and then the Crow can take the soul to the next life. That is the whole point. That's the main story of The Crow. And then of course you got the theme of love, but that wasn't explored as well as I thought it could. Now when you compare this to the graphic novel is very bloody. The 1994 film is not as bloody because it doesn't rely on it. It's not a film that requires blood. If it was a 15 or even a PG-12 and you kept the remnants of what the graphic novel was about, keeping the story the way it was and capturing the emotions, then you can get away without having a lot of blood in the film. However, this film required that, and I guess that's the only thing they could have in order to make this enjoyable for a lot of the audiences. And this is one of the main issues I have for the character Eric Draven in this film compared to 1994 starring Brandon Lee. Bill Skarsgård's version of Eric Draven, he is a ruthless maniac, whereas the 1994 version, Brandon Lee is a kind-hearted but also a funny person as well. His interpretation of Eric Draven is someone who actually has a bit of compassion. When he's going after Skank, for example, he allows the people around him to leave. He gives them the opportunity to leave. I'm not here for any of you, I'm here for him. You go to the cinemas to watch this sort of movie because there is a grandeur element. There's an element that makes you feel like, yes, I've got the payoff I wanted. There wasn't a payoff with this film. It's almost as if Lionsgate didn't know if they were going to make a sequel or if they were happy to keep this the way it was. In my opinion, it's absolutely baffling and quite insane how they thought this would be a good adaptation of a graphic novel and also kind of another remake of the original 1994 film, and they have failed on all accounts. In my opinion, this is almost like a slap in the face and insult to Brandon Lee, but that's just the way I thought when I watched this movie. Now, if you want to go watch this movie, that's totally up to you. These are just my personal thoughts, but if this is a movie that you want to watch because you want to see a man go out and start blowing people to pieces, ripping them to shreds and just going on a massive killing spree, then hey, this is a film for you. So The Crow is finally out. Have you seen it yet in cinemas? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments.